So this is why it's all connected. The whole thing is connected. It's already happening. And right now, it's all defined in ETH. ETH is the money of the internet, whether the Bitcoiners like it or not. Nobody uses Bitcoin. I mean, zero. Everybody uses Ethereum. So does it stay Ethereum? Do we have different protocols? I think we'll have multiple currencies. I think different communities have different currencies, and I think that's right. So everything becomes almost a sovereign state in its own right. You know, if you think about Facebook, if Facebook introduced DM, yes, it's pegged to the dollar, but it's basically their token. So they now have 3.5 billion people, kind of an organizing set of principles and rules, kind of a mission of what Facebook and their network does, and a system of money. Well, that sure looks like a nation state to me. And guess what? Facebook's the biggest nation state in the world, if that's the case. Right? People need to get their heads around. But we can also create small nation states once you start adding money. You know, we'll create a Real Vision token at some point soon. You know, we're working on it now. And that will create our own little nation state. Fascinating. So yes, there is a multi-currency world. Yes, Ethereum's probably the base layer for a lot of this. But who knows? That could change. But the point being, and the point you're getting at is all of this value transferable across these different experiences? That's what everybody's working to do. To make it seamless that I don't care what network this is on. I want to gift you my D&G jacket, and I can do that. And you're not asking me, oh, is this on Ethereum? Is this bit? Whatever. It just goes into your wallet. You know, I just message you or whatever, and straight across it goes. Same with money. So that's all coming. The interoperability layer is being built out that we don't care what rails it goes on, what blockchain it's on. We're just not going to be asking that in 10 years' time. Oh, what blockchain it's on? You know, it's like, it's irrelevant. It's the asset itself is all we care about. So what we're able to apply with crypto is behavioral economics. This is what central bank digital currencies are all going to be all about. They're all going to be programmable. And basically, it's the integration of behavioral economics, which is what Facebook basically exploded onto the world, and Google and all of these guys. Because behavioral economics was interesting and being used by the advertising industry, but the advent of big data changed everything, and the internet, because then you could influence people's decision making. So what we're going to see is a huge amount of experimentation in organizing these large groups of people by using crypto tokens. My guess is governments will learn from this. You know, people are talking about, should municipalities be tokenized for their goods and services and stuff like that? These are interesting questions, but I do think there's going to be learning. I don't think we'll be applying and we're seeing it, our existing principles of organization, of government, democracy, versus this new way, which is distributed decision making, which is even more democratic, but it's kind of harnesses the hive mind, the intelligence of the large crowd. I think somewhere in this is something very, very interesting. And I think it does change the state model.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
So we've got 3 layers here. One is energy. We need to generate electricity. That is our energy source. Whichever way we do it, we have to generate that. So there's a group of technologists who are transitioning to green energy. Why? Because it solves 2 problems. One, it obviously stops pollution. That's 3 problems. 2, many of these resources are being exploited and they won't be around forever. So we need to find a solution. And 3 is, if you apply digital technology to energy, you'll drive the cost of energy to 0, which is what I think is going on. And that is what's happening with green energy. Renewable energy means the ability to drive the cost of energy to 0. Okay, so as you do that, you ignite the next layer, which is, okay, now we can have and need more computing power. So computing power is driven by Moore's law, which is basically another exponential curve that says that every year or 2 computing power doubles. But that looks like it's starting to peak. So how do you solve that issue? Because we need exponentially more computing power. Well, that's coming from distributed computing, edge computing, where you're using idle equipment that's all around us and using the computing power there. So that's, okay, cloud was one of the first parts of this. So we're going to become better at processing more data, faster data, and lots of it from the computing power. Then we need to network it. So here there are two big developments going on. One is 5G. 5G interconnects everybody in the mobile phone to basically broadband, massive broadband internet access. Game changer for everything. Secondly, space. People don't realize it. People think space is a race of, 3 billionaires and their egos. It has nothing to do with that. There are thousands of satellites going up every year now. Tens of thousands. And they're now the size of a 10 centimeter by 10 centimeter cube, and they cost $2 million. There is cloud storage in space. So these satellites can store data in the cloud so they don't have to run out of computing power. And those are creating a network of data at space level outside of state control as well. It's fascinating. So what we've got is energy driving computing power, driving networks. Output is exponentially more data. So how do we organize the data? Artificial intelligence. We can then use robotics, Internet of Things. We generate more data. We use more AI. So kind of AI is the big one in all of this. AI is changing genetic sciences and all medicine. AI is changing, software is eating the world and AI is the thing that's doing it. So this is why it's all connected. The whole thing is connected.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where to start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.